Hello boys and girls, and welcome to lesson 4-6, interpreting remainders. What do we mean by interpreting? Interpreting means analyzing or trying to understand what it means, the remainders. Every time we divide a number, or not every time, but many times when we divide a number, we might not get the exact quotient that we're looking for, and we might have a number remaining. We want to identify what that number means. Does it mean money left over, time left over, number of items left over? So let's practice by doing just a regular division, a quotient, or a number, a word problem, or what they call a number story, and we'll identify what the remainder actually means. Okay, so let's pretend Mr. Mendez has told the class, those of you, 8 of you in class, will have to split 100 minutes flying the drone. Okay, so between 8 of you, you will split 100 minutes flying this drone. So there's the number 100, right? 100, and the number 100 needs to be split amongst 8 of you equally. Okay? So we have the number 8. Because there's 100 minutes and there is our number 8. Let's do, between 8 students, let's do partial quotient. So how many 8s are in 100? Well, I'm not exactly sure, but I know I can multiply 8 times 10. And that will give me 80. And then I subtract, and I have 20 now. How many 8s are in 20? 8 times 1, 8, 8 times 2, 16, 8 times 3, 24. That's too much, so it's 8 times 2. Make sure, boys and girls, that you align it, okay, like so. So now I have 20. Go back to our pen. So that's 16. 8 times 2 is 16, and now I have 4 at the bottom left, okay? That's my remainder. Remember to add up all the 8s, because all of these are 8s. This is 10 8s, and this is 2 8s. So add them up, and you have 12 8s. So I know that there are 12 8s, and this right here is how many 8s I have, and this number over here is my remainder. Okay? So as you can see, boys and girls, I have a 4 as a remainder. What does this 4 mean? This is what we have to try to identify. What does that mean? Well, let's see. We have 100 minutes that have to be divided amongst 8 students. 100 minutes divided amongst 8 students. Each student is going to get 12 minutes flying the drone. There are 4 remaining, 4 out of the 100. So there are 4 what? Minutes. Okay, so, and that is important. We can't just ignore this remainder. We have to say, well, there's still 4 minutes left that we could use. Well then, what's 4 divided into 8? You're saying, let's see, let's write it here. 4 divided by 8 so that everyone can have the maximum amount of time. If you said that 4 divided by 8, well, let's see, if you have to cut each one of these holes in half, right? So you should have 0.5. So that's half of a minute. So it would add to the minutes here, so it would be 12.5. And that's what you would have per student. Each student gets an extra 30 seconds. An extra 30 seconds because we use the remainder. So as you can see, remainders are actually very important sometimes. There we were able to get each student an extra 30 seconds of time. They had 12 minutes originally, but there was for each one, but there was 4 minutes left in total. We took those 4 and cut them up and divided it amongst 8. So each whole got cut up in half because it's 4 divided into 8, so each one got cut into half. And half a minute is 30 seconds. So each Student got an extra 30 seconds flying the drone. So that was important. We couldn't ignore that remainder. Sometimes you can ignore the remainder, but let's see in lesson 4-6, and let's see the examples if we ignore the remainder or if we make sure we account for it. Okay, let's turn to lesson 4-6, page 111. On page 111, we're going to interpret what the remainders mean, okay? In order to interpret them and to help us divide, we're going to draw a picture and then write an equation, an open sentence. We're going to use the division algorithm to solve the problem, and then we're going to say what the remainder means, what it represents. And then we're going to decide what to do with the remainder. Are we going to ignore it, report it as a fraction or a decimal, or round up? Okay, let's start with number 1. You can get rid of this and move this over. Compact discs are on sale for $9 including tax. How many can you buy with $30? Okay, well, how many can we buy $30? So let's say we use our partial quotient and we write $30, okay, divided by 9 because we want to know how many 9s are in $30. How many can you buy? So I know that 9 times 3 equals 27, right? And it's going to give me a 3 remainder. So my answer would be 9 remainder 3. What does this remainder mean? Well, we just broke up $30 and we have 3 left. So this clearly means $30. But how can we draw a picture of this? I would draw it as a circle. I'll draw my $30, oops. I'll draw my $30 and my $30, there's my whole $30. Okay? And in my $30, I know I can squeeze 3 9s. Oops, I did that wrong. I have 3 9s, not 9 9s. Let me fix that. There we go. Sorry about that. So I have 3 9s in 30, and then that gives me 27, and I have a remainder of 3. So 3, remainder 3. And as I mentioned, I have my $30 right here. Okay, we'll just call it $30. Within my $30, I have 1 CD, which cost me $9. I have 2 CDs, which cost me another $9, that's 18, and 3 CDs, which cost me another $9. So there I have 27, and I have 1, 2, 3 remainders. Well, these 3 remainders is my dollars left. The question is asking me, how many can you buy with $30? Well, I can buy 3, right? So what does the 3 here mean? That means I have $3 left in change. Is the change important? Well, no. So maybe we should just ignore those $3 because they will not change my answer. But I can buy 3 CDs. So continue with number 1. Let's write our number sentence. My number sentence, we took our $30 and we divided it by 9 to see how many 9s are in 30, and we got 27, right? Well, 9 times 3 is 27. We know that there are 3 of them there, and that gave me a remainder of 3 left. But those 3, okay, so my answer is, how many compact discs can we buy? Remember, always remember the question. We can buy 3 of them. That's what's important. What does the remainder represent? Well, it represents the money left over, which is really not important because it doesn't affect the amount of CDs I can buy. So what should I do with this remainder here? I simply ignored it. It's not important. Okay, let's look at number 2, and you can work on number 2 on your own after we look at it. Okay, number 2. Rebecca and her 3 sisters. So Rebecca's 1 person and her 3 sisters. That makes it 1 plus 3 is 4. Bought their mother a bread machine for her birthday. The machine cost $219, including tax. The sisters split the bill evenly. Okay, they split it evenly. How much did each sister contribute? Here's the question. How much did each contribute? So, if I were to draw this, and I'm going to let you go ahead and do it, but I'm just going to show you the way I would do it. I would take the entire amount. This is going to represent the $219. There's my $219, okay? And we said that it's Rebecca plus her 3 sisters, right? So that makes it 4. 4 people split it. So we have that split in half, and this is split in 4. So they each split the amount of $219 into 4 equal parts. Okay? To 4 equal parts. My number sentence, evenly, my number sentence is probably going to look something like this. 219 divided by 4. Divided by 4. Divided by 4. Okay? So 219 divided by 4 is what it would look like. Now, boys and girls, you can choose to do this with the partial quotient, or you can try with the standard format, the traditional format. Let's see. If you were to do 4 times 100, you would get 400, correct? 4 times 100, you would get 400. That's too much. What if you did half of that? What if you did 4 times, instead of 100, you did 50, like this? We just said that 4 times 100 equals 400, right? But 4 times 50, which is half of 100, equals 200. So there's your partial quotient. Let's try that. Now that equals 200. And then we have 19 left, and we know that 4 times 4 equals 16. And there we have a 3. Okay. A 3 as our remainder. And let's add this up. How many 4s are in 219? 54. Okay, with a remainder of 3. Right? Okay, let's do it the traditional way. How many 4s are in 2? None. So we go on to the next number. How many 4s are in 21? Now, if you said 5, you're correct. And then we bring down the 1, and we subtract, and then we bring down the 9. And we do, how many 4s are in 19? Well, we know that 4 times 4 equals 16, and now we have a 3. And this is where we would put a decimal right there, and a decimal right there, and we bring down the 0. Okay? And now how many 4s are in 30? 4 times 7 is 28, right? And then we have 2 left over, and we bring down the other 0. Okay? How many 4s are in 20? 5. 4 times 5 equals 20. And there we go. So now this one gives us the exact decimal. Okay? Since we're talking about money, as you can see right here, then it would be best to include a remainder, include a decimal, because we're talking about money, so this would be $54.75. So let's go all the way down here. What does the remainder represent? Well, you should write it represents money. Cents. Circle what you did with the remainder. Well, we can't just ignore the remainder. We have to report it as a decimal because it is part of what each sister spent on their mother's gift, as you can see here. Okay? It's $219 split evenly. So if they split it evenly, you're going to get $54.75. So we must include it. If we don't include it, then we have to take away 3 from this number, and it's actually 216. So no, we must include it in there, because then it's not the full amount.